Okay guys, so good evening. For today, yung gagawin natin is magda-download tayo ng Visual Studio from the website. Tapos what we're gonna do is gonna be installing the Visual Studio onto our computer. So let's go ahead and take a look on the most latest version. So we do have this community version that we could download. So this is going to be the one that we will be downloading. So let me put it on the downloads and let's go ahead and install Visual Studio. So just click on the exe file that you were able to download and then follow the steps that you need to do. Okay, so it's getting the installer ready for us. So we will just gonna be picking all of the things that we do need for the installation. So for this one, we will be using ASP.NET. We will be using the .NET Desktop Development. So let's go ahead and download those. Let's go ahead and desktop development with C++. No, we will not be downloading that. Okay, I think we're done. Let's go ahead and take a look on the other options that we could download. Okay, so just pick two: ASP.NET and Web Development and .NET Desktop Development. So we have here a requirement of 10.13 GB. So what we need to do is to first clear up some storage. So let me go ahead and do that for you guys. So let's go ahead and install. So we are now currently installing our Visual Studio 2022. So let's just wait for it to finish. So I'll go ahead and pause the video for now and continue later. So while waiting, let's take a look and see what are the requirements for the Visual Studio. Let's see the system requirements. So Visual Studio 2022 system requirements. So we will take a look on the minimum requirements. Okay, so Visual Studio requirements, we just need a, let's see. Okay, so we have 1.8 gigahertz or faster than 64-bit processor, minimum 4 gigabytes of RAM. The hard disk space could be from 850 MB to 210 GB for that space. But for the installation that we did, we were only required to install about 14 GB. Okay. So I do my system unit actually is within the requirements of the Visual Studio, so that will not be a problem. So I will advise most of the students to just be sure to use a 16 GB worth of RAM and a higher CPU or processor as much as possible, because during runtime it is needed so that your Visual Studio will not freeze. Okay, so let's go back to our installation. Okay, so I'm currently installing the 2022 and I'll go back later after it finishes. Okay guys, so after quite some time of waiting it to be installed, we now have Visual Studio 2022. Let's go ahead and launch, see what will happen. Okay, so we have the basic, starting with the Visual Studio. So let's try to create a new project. It almost has the same format as the 2017 that I have used before. So I'll just try to use the console application. Click on next, and then this will be saved as console app 1. It will be located at C users my folder, and the solution name is console app 1. So let's go ahead and click next. Okay, so right now let's just use the default, which is the .NET 6.0. So we'll try to use or try to create one program using okay, so we will just going to be using this part. So let's go ahead and try to run the program. And it will be displaying hello world. Press N key. Let's see if it was able to run. Console app debugging, close the console when debugging stops. There we go. So we have seen the hello world, and I think that's it for just the installation of Visual Studio.